Hello, everyone, and welcome to Module 8. We are at the end of the course, so you have completed all of your modules at this point, from 0 through 7. Now it's time to put all of that hard work into a portfolio. So I'm going to go ahead and give you Module 8 overview to help prepare you for that portfolio journey. So the Module 8 objectives are to assemble your leading edge certification portfolio and to reflect on your experience as an online learning teacher. The Module 8 assignments that will be completed. As your discussion, you will be writing an LEC OBT letter to a future LEC OBT student explaining the experience of online blended teacher. You will also submit your portfolio. You will also receive your portfolio back to make adjustments, and you will be asked to complete a post-course survey, giving us your insight and feedback to the LEC OBT course. So we're going to go ahead and get started now and talk about some tips that will help you in completing the Module 8, last module of LEC OBT. When you access Module 8 on our LEC OBT Power School page, what you will find is your LEC OBT letter requirement as the discussion. Again, this is the letter that you will be writing to any future LEC OBT participants. You are encouraged to reply to your fellow classmates, but this is not a requirement for this assignment. The next step would be for you to submit your LEC portfolio link, and you would submit that on this form. You can go ahead and submit the link even as you're constructing your LEC OBT portfolio. It is better for us to have the link so that way we can give you guidance as you're creating it. Your LEC portfolio will go through the vetting process between two instructors. In this case, it'll be Sonal and myself. And then once it's ready for submission, we'll actually send it to the LEC Alliance. We will send you it back to correct and fix anything that we find, and then we'll submit it to the LEC Alliance. Please note that it's very likely that they do send it back and find something. So we always have the opportunity to make the correction and resubmit for certification. The certification process or the submitting process is going to be about 2 weeks. The other assignment for Module 8 is the post-course survey, and this is where we would like your feedback and insight as to how the course was. Remember, we're constantly growing and learning, so we would appreciate any feedback that you have for us in this course and how we can make it better. So to get started, the thing that I would recommend first is to go to the LEC textbook. And when you go to the textbook, you'll want to go to the portfolio checklist. This checklist is going to be very helpful when creating your portfolio. And as I'm explaining what are the components for your portfolio, I want you to keep in mind that any of the assignments that you've turned in from Module 0 through 7 are going to be placed onto this portfolio. So you want to make sure that you had a passing grade and have resubmitted any not passing grades before you add them to your portfolio. So the very first thing you want to make sure is that in your portfolio, you have a home page. And this is going to be a page where you can add your resume or you can add a personal picture, a bio, a brief introduction about yourself and describing the LEC course and why you took the course. Now I will give you an example. So this is a former student's LEC portfolio and this is her introduction page. You can add your resume, but you do not have to add your resume. It's very much optional. The next step is that you want to include as pages within your portfolio or website all of the modules. So from module 1 through 7, you're going to want to title those modules rather than list them by number. And the reason I say that is because anybody reading your portfolio will not know what module 1 was. They won't know that it was the evolution of online and blended learning. So in lieu of saying module 1, you'll want to actually title them what they are. So in this case, module 1 was the evolution of online and blended learning. Every module, you'll want to include an introduction to the module focus. So this is not something that would be on the PowerSchool page. It's something you're going to have to create as you're creating your portfolio. So for example, here is another student example of their introduction for module 1. And if I went through each additional module, you'll see that there's an introduction there as well. The next thing you'll want to do is for every module that you went through with this course is you're going to want to add those assignments to your portfolio. So for the module 1, you created a Venn diagram. So you're going to want to embed that Venn diagram onto your actual module. And you will also add your reflections. The only part that will only stay in the PowerSchool page are the discussions. Those do not transfer over to your portfolio. So again, just to reiterate, we want to make sure that you have all of your assignments completed and graded with a passing grade before you place them onto your portfolio. So it's very much how you added all of the assignments to the PowerSchool page. You're now taking those assignments and transferring them on over to your portfolio and putting them in a nice organized way. So this document is very nice because it's going to title or list each of the modules and the components in a checklist form that you'll want to make sure to adhere to. It's very explicit, so I will not go ahead and go through every one of them, but I do want to go down here to the general requirement suggestions and reminders. This is going to be vital to you passing LEC because this is the criteria that your evaluators will look at when deciding whether or not to certify you. You want to make sure that all of your assignments have the proper sharing added to it. So in this case, it's anyone with the link can view. We don't want to have anything private or anything private to just your school domain. We want to make sure that it's sort of public on the web, where if you have the link, it's accessible because we do not know who the evaluators are going to be. The other thing is we want to make sure that we are meeting the ADA requirements, and in that case, we want to have our alternative text on images, charts, visuals, anything of that nature. You've had some practice in the PowerSchool page, and now is just time to make sure that those are there. If you're using Google Sites for your LEC portfolio, it does make it a lot easier to add that. Also, we want to make sure that you have the ADA headings. We want to make sure the headings are all standard sizing and any subheadings are all standard sizing, and so on and so forth. We want to make sure that we are properly citing any material that we've used. That's very, very important to passing as well. And then lastly, just be creative and let your personality shine. We've all created the same or had the same assignments, but where the personalization is going to come in is when you're actually creating that portfolio. And this is going to be something that you can share, whether it's in a job interview or just with your fellow colleagues, and it's going to be very beneficial for you. Something you can post on your LinkedIn page, just something to be proud of and share the hard work that you've done. So let's go ahead and just look at one last time a student's final portfolio. If you see here, she has put her pages on the left-hand side. She is using Google Sites, the new Google Sites. She's listed them in order, even though they're not numbered. She has her biography as the home page. She has added her introduction. She has embedded her portfolio assignment from the module. She has added her reflection. And let's go ahead and go in and make sure that she has done that for everything. So she has her introduction, she has her embedded portfolio assignment, she has everything linked, and she has her reflection. So you would consistently follow that pattern when creating your portfolio. Now we're going to move on to Google Sites. Google Sites is a common tool to use to put together your LEC portfolio. It by no means is mandated to use. If you wanted to use another resource like Weebly or GoDaddy or any other website creating tool, you are welcome to do so. Google Sites is free and it's easy to use, so that's sort of a perk of it. In that case, it's also very simple. So if you are somebody who wants to have a very decorated and elaborate LEC OBT portfolio, then you might want to choose another tool. So for today, we're going to just preview Google Sites to help those of you that do want to use this as your LEC portfolio tool. I'm going to take you through to Google Sites. So the way you would access Google Sites would be through your Chrome waffle. You can find this if you're logged into your Chrome browser or if you're into your Google Drive. It should be right there and you can go to Sites. I'm actually already in Sites, so we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing that you can use is a template gallery if you would like to. You can pick something or you can start from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and just start with a blank one. You can also change your mind later and go to themes and add a theme. So as you can see, this is just a blank slate. These would be your title pages. So remember on the portfolio checklist, we wanted to make sure to have each one of these as pages. So your home page is going to be your bio, and then each additional page following will be every module that you completed. And we want to title modules, not list them by number. So in this case, we're going to call this our home page. So we would name this one by your first and last name with the LEC. That should title the site, but you can go ahead and title the site, your name, and the LEC. And that's pretty standard. If you want to get creative with that, that would be fine. From there, what I'll want to do is add pages. So right now I only have a home. So if I'm going to add each additional module, I can add them here. So the first module to add would be Online and Blended Teacher. Just make sure. Yes, Online and Blended Teacher. And once I click done, that page is going to be added. So now I have 2 pages. And you would continue that as you got through all 7 modules. So I'm going to go back to going to home. So if I were completing this, you can change your header. You can choose an image to go on the background. You can upload any image. You can pick the header type that you want. If you want it to be a large banner, a smaller banner, just the title. It's really up to you and the aesthetics of how you want your site. I like the general regular banner look. Again, you can choose themes. So if I wanted to change the color, I can go ahead. If I wanted to change the layout, I think I'm going to pick, I usually like a very clean look. So let's see. If I liked this, then I could change the background. So I think I like this one. So we'll go ahead and go with this. So this is my first page. This is where I would add my bio. So as you're plotting items to each page, these are your options for plotting. You can add text. So if you're doing your introduction, you can choose some of these standard ones. You can, if I'm going to follow my ADA compliance, so that way I can pass the LEC certification, you'll want to make sure to have your headings. So I'm going to call this introduction. And that would be compliant as long as I'm consistent with this same heading throughout each module. And then you can add another text box and you can add your introduction. So in this module, blah, blah, blah. And that would be your introduction. The next thing would be to embed your assignments. You've actually have gotten familiar with embedding assignments from embedding them into PowerSchool. It does not change. The method is the same when embedding into LEC, OBT, into Google Sites. The only difference is you can actually embed straight from Google Drive. So if any of your assignments have been created in the Drive, that makes it a lot easier because you can search items and you can put them right in from the Drive, and that makes it a lot easier. If you have the embed code, you can enter it here and then again work with the sizing just like you did in PowerSchool. You can go through each one of these. You can add images. Let's say you wanted to add an image. Let's just make sure that if we're adding an image, we're meeting our LEC compliancy. So we're going to see if we can find an image here. Let's say we are going to add this baby. Okay. It's going to automatically crop it. So if you want to uncrop to see the full image, that's all you have to do. We want to make sure to add our alt text. Okay, so I'm going to type in here, let's see, newborn baby. I don't know if this baby is laughing, but it kind of, or how about smiling? There we go. So now I've added my alt text and I'm ADA compliant. You can add dividers, so this would divide. You can embed YouTube videos, calendars, docs, but you can also do it from here with Google Drive. You can change the layout. So if you wanted your pages to be in a different layout, let's see, you can pick which layout. So I just changed them to the side. So when I publish, if you want your headings on top, you'll put it on top. If you want them on the side, you will pick side. I'm going to go ahead and pick side. And let's go ahead and preview. So this is what a side view would look like. They would come through the side. Want to exit the preview. It actually lets you preview what it would look like on various forms of technology, whether it be a laptop or a phone or a tablet. So the last thing I do want to just highlight with Google Sites is that you need to publish it. So publish in essence is like a save. So if you do not publish, then it doesn't go live. The very first time you publish, you're going to really be selecting your website for your portfolio. So you can actually edit this and pick whatever you want it to look like. Let's just say I just want it to be LEC Gian. So you'll see what the address is going to be here. So let's say I want it to just be LEC Sarah. You'll see that here. And then at that point, you want to make sure that you change the sharing. Okay, you don't want it to be just restricted to your um, school domain. You want it to be public. So you want to make sure to change that. Once you've picked your name, you can click Publish. This is where you would get your link. You copy your published link, and this is the link that you would add to the PowerSchool page right here. Remember, you do not need to have a completed portfolio to submit your published link, because as long as you consistently click publish as you make changes, we will always have the updated version. We do need you to send us a message through PowerSchool once your portfolio is finalized so we can start the evaluation process. Again, that's going to go through 2 instructors. Sonal and myself will be the first 2 instructors, and then we will submit it to LEC for certification. Do not be alarmed if it gets rejected initially, because most portfolios do get sent back with the need to have something fixed. We will do our best to go through them ourselves to find the things that we can find before we send it in and submit it back or give it back to you. But if we miss anything, LEC will find it and send it back. Doesn't mean that you won't get certified. It just means that they're giving us another opportunity to correct. And with that, that would finalize our Module 8. Thank you for joining, and I look forward to seeing and reading all of your LEC portfolios. Take care.